Bellandur exposes the white lies of the BBMP. Take a look at the viral video of the 40 minutes. It's a major relief for the Raghaveshwara Swamy High Court grants Sia anticipatory bail in the second case of rape against a 25-year-old. Brazen display of lawlessness in the Varanasi. Madras High Court brings court proceedings to the big screen to avoid any untoward incident. It came in search of water and this is what happened. Leopard gets its head stuck in a metal pot in Rajasthan. Good evening and welcome to News 9. I'm Bansi. Ironically, the IT hub of India was declared as the cleanest in the countries last month. But the scene of toxic froth flying over the place at Bellandur Lake will surely shock you.
After the Bellandur Lake spewed toxic foam onto the road and caught fire twice in 3 days in the month of May, a similar scene is being witnessed yet again. Heavy rains increased foam level. The heavy rains that lashed the city over the past 3 days has led to a situation where the froth has now started covering the bridge. The lake, which is forming toxic white foam, is spilling onto the neighboring area as well. A cyclist surprised. A cyclist who was trying to cross the bridge was taken by surprise at the magnitude of the froth flying across it. He had to stop his cycle on the bridge until the flying froth settled. Commuters who are using the Bellandur Tank Bund Road to reach Marathahalli, Yamalur, Indiranagar and other surrounding areas are suffering a lot. No use of treatment plant. Although the treatment plant near the Bellandur Lake is operational, it is below the required capacity. A couple of months ago, effective microorganism solution was sprayed to curb the frothing, but even that did not yield the desired results. 20 villages are badly affected. The frothing process is going on since almost 5 years now. The unbearable stench has also affected the health of several residents. Polluted borewells. Several borewells in the area have also been polluted, which in turn has affected the residents as they are forced to utilize the contaminated water. No action taken by BWSSB. Despite several complaints filed by the residents on the condition of the lake, Bangalore Water Supply and Sewage Board, the lake was then transferred to the Bangalore Development Authority 3 years back, but no action has been initiated by the BDA as well.
It is in fact a very horrible situation for the residents who surround the Bellandur Lake, and they have been suffering for quite some years because of what we can call the Bellandur Lake has become a pollution cesspool. To discuss about it, I have with me Rajashri Mazumdar, who's a resident of this area. Let's listen into what he has to say with regards to the kind of suffering that he has underwent because of this pollution cesspool called the Bellandur Lake. Rajashri, how difficult it has been to live around this lake?
Pretty much like, more than what time we have spent, we are worried about the times to come. So, as you can see, with the situation, I'm sure, the waterbed is already contaminated by now. Because it's been a long time, right? And we have been raising voices in different forms to the authorities so that it reaches them, and we were expecting some very quick solution from them, which is as of yet we are yet to see. I'm sure by this time, like last 4 or 5 years since when all these voices have been raised, if there was some action has been taken already, I'm sure the waterbed could have been saved. Now you might have heard that there was a test of the water that's been done recently, and some harmful chemicals has been, the substances were pretty harmful. And look at the residents. Here Kaveri is also not there, and it's all borewell water.
And what is the authorities said about this issue? Have they given you some assurance? Because most of the time they just give assurance, but again you can see the result of it, right?
Yeah, so as of now it's all foamy and frothy, I can say. Assurance are foamy and frothy. It's not yet. We don't see a very near-time solution to it. None of them has come and given a concrete solution or timelines that this will be done by this time frame.
You have taken also the campaign online. You've gone to social media trying to figure out what to do. Can you just explain about what is the campaign on online?
So there is a lady called Sanchita Jha who we just went and added up ourselves to make this online campaign much more stronger. So she had started it, and we are very soon will reach the number required. So this campaign is actually we are asking the BBMP authorities, the sewage board authorities, to immediately give a solution and save many lives in and around the Bellandur Lake.
How difficult is it for you to use the water that is provided here? You were saying there was no Kaveri connection also. So how difficult is the water that you're using?
Yeah, that's another concern. So I think 70%, 60 to 70% would be on borewell water, and we are yet to do a test like that. But what we know for sure, it can't be unnoticed. Like you don't need a scientist's brain to say that this kind of thing going on for all those years has definitely contaminated the waterbed. That much is for sure.
Well, thank you, in fact, for speaking to us with regards to it. So this is the kind of suffering that the residents go through. They don't have enough water thanks to the kind of mess that we can see, just frothing and forming lake beds, and the lake water is in fact so polluted that you can see the white lata that is in fact formed on top of it. Now this is at the Yamalur side of the Bellandur Lake. Now at the Bellandur northern part also it is a difficult situation. It is the same situation. The form just gathers and then it just blocks the pathways leading towards another lake where this is supposed to end up. So clearly a difficult situation for the residents in this particular area. So how will these residents survive in a situation like this when the pollution is great and they're going to face a situation where they can't even have drinking water because there are no Kaveri connections to this side. They're reliant on the groundwater, and the groundwater itself is polluted. Is the government listening to the plight of the residents around Bellandur?
In a meeting held recently, KSPCB officials had advised the BWSSB to set up STPs for apartments before building trunk lines and feeder lines. Unfortunately, the feeder system was built much before apartments set up STPs. Because of this, raw sewage is still entering the lake. BWSSB, KSPCB, BBMP and Lake Development Authority officials are expected to take stock of the situation at the lake on October 5th to gauge the progress of these temporary measures. Well, on October 2nd, the Modi Sarkar is all set to celebrate the first anniversary of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. But the residents of Bellandur have decided to protest on the day of Gandhi Jayanti to draw the nation's attention to their ongoing problems. Verghese, News 9, Bengaluru.
Well, even as the white foam of Bellandur Lake has exposed the white lies of the BBMP and the other civic authorities, have you heard of what the BBMP has to say? Now,